Here are 7 signs that the top is not even close to being in yet for crypto. I know a lot of people are wanting to sell their bags the second we see new all-time high breakouts happening. The vast majority of altcoins are still well below previous all-time highs. Not to say all of them are going to come back, but even cycle darlings like Solana have not hit a new all-time high yet, okay? So we got some fuel left in the tank. And I want to go through 7 reasons that you can also use as top indicators later, but as potential good indicators to let yourself know now that we're probably not even close to the kind of froth and euphoria and greed that are actually going to mark the top whenever that may come. It could be 3 months, could be 6 months, could be 12 months, okay? But this is the stuff you want to watch out for. The first one is nothing totally, completely stupid is happening yet. What do I mean? This JPEG, right, this NFT, this sold for $1.8 million at the peak of the froth the last cycle. It's worth, I don't know, a few bucks now, but that's absolutely dumb beyond belief. Somebody paid $1.8 million for this JPEG, man. That's not alone. We saw massive amounts of money flowing into all kinds of other silly NFTs that lost 99.99% of their value, and people paying literally millions of dollars for pictures of a rock. Yeah, when that kind of stuff starts happening, then we're going to start talking about the top being in, okay? Until then, we got some room to run before the greed gets totally out of control, okay? Next, massive media attention. Now, we of course have a lot of media attention on crypto right now, but not the kind of mass hysteria media attention that would normally mark a market cycle peak. For example, back when the 2021 cycle was peaking, we had Jimmy Fallon, for example, talking about NFTs all the time. They bought or were given, I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but they got a Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT, and they were talking about that on the late night show. That kind of stuff is going to come again. We're going to see all the big late night shows, Jimmy Fallon and whoever else is doing late night shows these days. But guess what? They're not going to be talking about NFTs this time. This time, you're going to see Jimmy Fallon and Stephen Colbert and Jon Stewart and whoever launch their own meme coins. Yeah, that's what's going to happen this time. Meme coins are the NFTs of this cycle. They've completely taken over the mind share, and we'll see NFTs make some kind of relative comeback, but I don't think it's going to be like it was last cycle where they get all the attention and the hype. It's going to be meme coins this cycle, and we're going to see really dumb media attention right near the top where you see just all kinds of meme coin insanity. When Jimmy Fallon launches his meme coin, inevitably, Fallon coin, that's probably a pretty hardcore top signal coming in, to be honest. Now, before we get into some of the chart-related stuff, I want to take a quick second to let you guys know about BitUnix. They got a crazy promotion going on right now. So look, if you want to be trading these cryptocurrency markets, especially if you want to be doing so without any KYC so that you can actually enjoy a bit of privacy in your trading, you might want to check out what BitUnix is doing right now. They have a crazy deal going on where you can actually deposit $200 and you're going to get $150 back for free. That's pretty awesome, right? So it's an extra $150 bonus, basically a 75% rebate on your $200 deposit, which is pretty gosh darn crazy if you ask me. Then, of course, you can use that free $150 that you get to go and do some trading. They got all the top coins, your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, your Solana, your Dogwoof hat, all that kind of stuff. No KYC, sweet bonus. Link down below. All you have to do, use that link to sign up, deposit your $200, claim your $150 for free. Go check it out. Let's now talk about the third factor here, which is the Pi cycle top indicator. There's a lot of great indicators, and we've made whole videos, and we're going to make whole videos again talking about all the indicators you want to watch out for that signal the market is topping. But the Pi cycle top indicator is definitely an interesting one, and that's one that in previous cycles has basically, within a few days' time, called the top. If you look back at 2021, the Pi cycle top indicator flashed, and I think 2 days later, we got our first major cycle peak for Bitcoin. It didn't call the second peak at 69K, but it did call the first peak at 64.5 or whatever that we got. So had you sold when that happened, you would have made a lot of money. Okay, let's just put it that way. The way it's going currently, it's probably not going to cross until March or April at the earliest. So keep an eye out for that. Okay. When it happens, don't fade it. Pay attention. Now, maybe there's always the chance that it could be a false indicator this time and that it flashes, then the market just goes so much higher. But if that's the bet you're making a very contrarian bet at that time. Okay? But this thing is not even close to crossing yet, so the top is not even close yet. Now, I want to take a quick second to talk about Fibonacci targets. So in previous cycles, we've seen the Fibonacci targets become very, very relevant. In the last cycle, for example, the Fibonacci basically called for a top for Bitcoin around $65,000 to $70,000, which is exactly where we ended up at. The Fibonacci targets for Ethereum last cycle came within a few dollars of actually being perfectly hitting the 3.618 Fibonacci line. So perhaps it's worth paying attention to for this cycle as well. Okay. And it's not always perfect. Last cycle, for example, we saw Dogecoin blast right through all the Fibonacci targets and go right up to basically do a whole nother set of them. It was so bullish, right? But for the big major coins, I feel like they do have some validity and some potential predictive powers, or at least something worth paying attention to as giving you some reasonable place to put targets. Because this is the thing. People are going to make some crazy predictions about this cycle. Bitcoin's going to $1 million. Bitcoin's going to $3 million. Bitcoin's going to $500,000. Bitcoin's going to $700,000. Huge numbers are already starting to fly around. That's dangerous talk, okay? Because a lot of those huge numbers largely just come out of thin air. Right? Where is your model or thesis for why that could happen? You don't often hear that. It's just crazy numbers going to happen because I said so. Okay? Well, here at least is some kind of rational thought process around why I think Bitcoin goes to around $200,000 to $250,000 as a market cycle peak price. Now, to be clear, if we get up to the Fibonacci target, which the 3.618 line here for Bitcoin is at $215,000, the 2.618 line is $150,000, and the 1.618 line is $100,000. So these are key areas for the price of Bitcoin as we go higher, which are areas that you may want to consider taking profits on, not necessarily your Bitcoin if you don't want to take profits on your Bitcoin, but perhaps on some of your altcoin bags, as they are major milestones for the price as it goes higher. Now, $215,000 becomes a reasonable quote unquote target based on this. Maybe you see 250K, maybe even a tiny bit higher. But the thing is, when Bitcoin peaks, it tends to peak really quickly. Here's the deal, okay? If you're talking about like, oh, Bitcoin's going to go to $250,000 per coin. Yeah, it might for a day, okay? This is the thing you need to realize. It doesn't get up there and stay up there for weeks and months on end. It gets up there and it peaks. And if it gets to 250K, it'll be at 250K for 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, and then it starts going back down, right? So if you're the guy who sells at 200K, oh, you didn't sell at 250. Well, you only missed out on 20% profit. It's not that big of a deal, right? But you don't want to be the guy who is sitting there waiting for it to go to 300K when it only goes to 250, and then you hold it back down to 50K or whatever. Just using Bitcoin as an example again, you don't have to sell your Bitcoin. You can hold it as a multi-cycle asset, a way to store your wealth, all that kind of stuff. Just giving it as a good example here. Now, what about Ethereum? Ethereum is going to go to $15,000, or at least that's according to the Fibonacci targets, okay? So key target here for the 3.618 line, which is where we want to see a top price coming in for Ethereum, that's right around $15,000. And we're nowhere close to $15,000 yet. Ethereum hasn't even broken out beyond its previous all-time highs yet, which it usually lags 4 to 6 weeks behind Bitcoin. So maybe we see a new high price for Ethereum by the end of the year, assuming market conditions broadly hold up, of course. And what about the total three? So this is the altcoin market. So this is all the crypto coins minus Bitcoin minus Ethereum. Well, it's likely that we could see actually this go up to around $3 trillion. Again, that's the 3.618 Fibonacci target here. So if it goes up to $3 trillion, okay, that means we see 400% total markup for all altcoins combined. So in that situation, a lot of your coins are going to go a lot higher than you think. A lot of those mid-cap or even high-cap altcoins are going to do a 10x from here. Some of them will do a 20x. The really low-cap stuff might go even higher than that, okay? Next major factor, the Coinbase app. Now, this thing has been surging recently, so definitely we might see a short-term local top form up in the next couple weeks or something like that. But this thing's been surging like crazy recently, but I don't think that marks a total cycle market top yet. We will see surges of this from time to time as the price moves and people start rushing in. But when you see the Coinbase app ranking #1 of all apps, which it has in 2017 and it has in 2021. That is a indicator for you that, holy crap, markets are massively overheated and it's probably time to take some money off of the table, okay? Look for Google Trends for Bitcoin and crypto as well to reach new highs. When this happens, it tends to be a moment where, yeah, people, the normie crowd has arrived, all right, and people are paying attention, too much attention, and it's probably time to get some money off the table. The next is fear and greed. I want to talk about this in particular in relation to the Wall Street cheat sheet. You see, we do have a fear and greed indicator, which is useful to an extent, but it tends to be in a bull market, basically in extreme greed for months and months on end. Whereas the Wall Street cheat sheet really shows how the chart's probably going to look near the end, okay? And you can just look at this psychological ballet that the average investor will do. Not even the average investor, big investors too. Everybody makes the same mistakes, right? Everybody's a genius in the bull market. And as the bull market heats up and we get closer to the top, because you're a genius now, the idea becomes, I need to bet more, okay? But just look at this chart. Look at this chart and understand where we likely are. Does it look like we're at the top? No, it does not look like we're at the top yet. We're not yet in the everybody's a genius phase, okay? We have a lot higher to go on the price before the charts reflect what the Wall Street cheat sheet reflects, which is approximately how the market cycle is likely going to play out because human psychology doesn't really change all that much, okay? And the final factor, and this one's kind of one of those, very ephemeral sort of things, but the old friends from high school, university, whatever, you're that crypto guy. Somebody saw you post about that a few years ago, so they're going to call you up and ask you, hey man, what dog coins should I buy? What's a good one? I see Dogecoin's up. It's only $1, so I can buy 20 of those for $1. I'm not going to buy Bitcoin though, because you can only buy 0.002 Bitcoin for $20, but I can buy 20 dog coins for $1, right? This is what you're going to be looking at, guys. And when you're starting to see really broad sort of normie talking points about it, when you get into your cab or your Uber, love my cab and Uber drivers, obviously, by the way, but as sort of a general indicator, right? People who are not normally dialed in, your barber, right? Your doctor, your pediatrician, whoever it might be, when they start giving you tips about what dog coins to buy, that's problematic. Here's an anecdotal story for you. Back in 2021, it was about April, I had two friends come visit me within about a 2-week period, and they both asked me about buying Shiba Inu. And I should have just nuked everything in my portfolio at that moment, man, because that was really like a top signal. These are guys who are not invested normally, much love, but they're not invested normally. And they were only paying attention because of the hype around the market. And when they came in, what did they want to buy? Dog coins. There's a lesson there, by the way. Anyway, that's 7 signs for you that the top is not even close, guys. We got a long way to go, okay? Survive, stay in the game, and be ready to take profits. Thanks for watching.